Hello and welcome, travellers. This is Andrea Caldi from Virtualissimo, and today I'm coming to you to talk to you about one thing that might be stopping you from creating content and holding you back from creating content, and that's when you feel that you just can't even tech. That's when you think that you need technology to be able to create amazing content, and it all just sounds too complicated, too intimidating, and you just throw your hands up in the air and you go, no, can't deal with this, and I'd rather not create any content. And actually, my dad comes to mind when back years and years ago, the internet became available where my parents live, which is in a small town in Hungary. And the first thing that they would have needed was a computer. And my dad, who is 72 years old now, was actually really intimidated by technology. He said, oh, I don't even know how to turn on a computer, you know, all that sort of stuff. Who needs it anyway? And he was really, really resisting it. And it actually took my mum and dad a couple of years before they bought a computer and connected the internet to the house. So we could have been keeping in contact for years and years over Skype, me living and working in Australia and then being back in Hungary. We could have been in contact face-to-face over Skype for years, but because he was so intimidated by technology, the hardware, the computer, as well as the use of the internet, he just didn't want to deal with it. But once he actually got started on it, he learned a few basic things. He started enjoying it so much that it's hard to peel him away from the computer nowadays, because I think Google is just his best friend. And he probably thinks so as well. So if technology, or the thought of using technology, is what is holding you back from creating content, and I've got a few ideas for you on what you can do to actually bust that excuse or bust that reason. So first of all, stop listening to people who tell you that technology is hard, or that a particular device is hard to use, a particular platform is hard to use. Stop listening to them, because it might be hard for them, but it may not necessarily be hard for you. Even if it looks scary and intimidating, everything has a basic starting point where you can go to as well. So what you want to do is remove the fear of using it by learning about it, get to know it. If you feel like that is a little bit too hard for you at this stage, or all the technology that's available out there is too overwhelming, then maybe you can just pick one or two that you can start with and start creating content on those particular techs or platforms, and look into ways to repurpose your content into other platforms or other technology that you find overwhelming at this stage. This way you still get to create content, and you can even outsource the repurposing to someone who knows how to use that particular piece of technology. If you do decide to learn about it, then start with the very basics. Pick something that is easy to learn and go slow. Make sure that you're confident about the things that you're learning, the new skills that you're learning, before you're moving on to new and more complex and complicated skills. And trust me when I tell you that this will make you feel empowered and more in control about your content, because it's not going to be some mythological land in technology universe where you feel like it's a place where you will never be able to go. But it's actually going to bring it closer to you and will empower you to use it more and to learn more about it further. There are also a lot of automation processes that you can use to connect different sort of technologies together. Now, I understand that this might not be something that you would be able to do, but it's something that you can actually outsource to people who are techie people, who know how to connect different technologies, how to make them work together. And most of the time, when those things are set up, they only need to be done once, and the rest of the time they will just work with each other perfectly. Most things you can get an app for nowadays. You'd be surprised how many things have apps. So if you can get an automation working between the different techs and different platforms, that's awesome. Now, one of the things that is probably stopping you using technology is because you don't know what questions to ask when it comes to a particular piece of technology or technology in general. So what I suggest is that you find people who are techie or specialize in a particular technology or platform that you think you want to be using. And instead of asking them questions, tell them what you want to achieve with your content. Tell them that you want X, Y, Z to be able to do something or other. And from there, they will be able to give you some suggestions on what you can do. You can use this to connect with this and this, or different sort of variations, where you can pick and choose what it is that works for you. And they are really the best people to ask or talk to, rather, instead of just throwing the question out there, especially if you're not confident with your question. Sometimes you might ask the wrong question when it comes to technology. And if you ask the wrong question, you will get the wrong answer, and you may not get the advice that you actually need. So talking about what your needs are is actually a better thing to do than asking questions. So remember, to remove the fear, learn some basic technology skills, build slowly, and make sure that you're confident before you move on to the next level. Or you can outsource it to people who know how to operate the technology and tell them what it is that you need rather than asking them questions. So I hope you found this useful and have some ideas on how you can move beyond your technology fears and start creating some amazing content. I'll be back tomorrow at 6 p.m. to talk to you about how money or low budget might be holding you back from creating some awesome content. So we'll see you tomorrow. Bye-bye.